Hello everyone. This is day one of Devops complete course. My name is Chandrasekhar. I do have in total experience of more than 16 years now, and I wanted to have this course, wanted to conduct this course in order to provide better knowledge on what DevOps is and different tool stacks which a DevOps framework should have. One who is interested in getting a job in DevOps must have knowledge of different set of tools. With this course, I'll bring great knowledge which I have achieved from my experiences, all the knowledge which you wanted to have, being a good DevOps engineer to grow well in the organization where you're working. So in today's day one session, I will quickly start with my day one session. In today's day one session, I'll basically talk about what DevOps is, why DevOps, and also I'll talk about what are the daily activities of a DevOps engineer, because this is the basic thing, this is the basic question which remains in mind of everyone who wants to apply for a DevOps job. And the most important question which comes in mind of everyone's job is what is actually a DevOps? And normally, what happens is once you complete the course of DevOps, you will certainly think of applying for a job. And whenever you apply for a job, then every interviewer wants to understand what is the daily activity of a DevOps engineer. This is somewhere comes in your introduction also. So in this, I will try to mix in both introduction which you would like to present when you are appearing for a job of DevOps engineer, and also what are the daily activities of you being a DevOps engineer will be. So let's first start with what a DevOps is. What do you understand by the term DevOps? I'll go to next page. So when I say DevOps, like you can clearly understand, if I talk about DevOps, then DevOps is something which is combination of developer, sorry for typo, developer and operations. If you will see it carefully, then dev part of developer. This dev part of developer plus ops part of operations, or you can say in short, we call sometimes operations as ops also. So the term dev came from developers, dev came from here, and ops came from operations. And both, when combined together, formed DevOps. So now what DevOps is and why it is a combination of developer and operations. I'll take o- I'll take you to a period nearly a decade back, maybe 10 to 15 years back, when there was no such concept of DevOps. At that time, developers, but still, even though it was 10 to 15 years back, we had certain softwares getting developed because we are using IT for pretty much long by now. So even 10 to 15 years back, also IT industry existed. We had so many softwares which we were using by then. So basically, all these teams of developers, operations team were there. So we, being a customer, were consuming a number of different applications which were available online. So these all things were there by then also. So how things were different by then? Then DevOps being introduced recently. So now by then we did not had concept of DevOps, but we still had different teams. We had teams like developer, we had teams like operations, or to which we also called as sys engineers, system engineers, system engineers. Also, we had team who were working basically on testing of all the frameworks, and we had team which were mostly working on deployment of our applications or deployment of the code or the tested code from lower environment to higher environment. When I say lower environment, it's till pre-prod, all the pre-prod, and all the higher environments are prod environments. So they were mostly dealing with that thing. They were mostly trying to deploy the application from lower environment to higher environment. But these teams were still there. Developers were there, operations team were there, testing team were there. Developer, like the way we developer works in current situation, developer used to develop all the applications by writing various types of codes which is written in Java or Java, Python, various types of codes were written by developers. Operations team, what they were doing, they were creating servers, they were maintaining servers where application are actually going to run. And testing team is going to test applications which are running on the testing servers, and testing team are not testing anything on their local machine because that's not a kind of recognized method. If you'll say that, fine, testing team, if a testing team comes and says that the code which is written by developer, it's been tested in my computer, then nobody is going to recognize it. So for that, testing team used to test everything there on the server, on the testing server itself, which is quite a replica of your production scenario, production servers. So all these team used to work in an isolation. So now development team, which included developers, testing team, work in isolation, and the team who were maintaining infrastructure like operations team, networking team, those team works separately. So they were kind of isolation. They were working in silos. Now, what DevOps says that instead of these all teams working in silos, let's bring all the teams together. So, how the situation was before? Before before there were development team, it will be good to say development team, development team, and infrastructure team. And infrastructure. Still, we have development team and infrastructure team, but the things are much different now. So, previously, there was development and infrastructure team where development team, you can say all the developers are a part of development team, all the developers are a part of development team. Sorry for these. Okay, so under development team we had developers, and we also count testing team within development category itself. Sometimes we count quality analysis team, QA team, who works on all various sort of testing. I don't want to complicate by saying lots of technical words in my day one session itself, but gradually as the session grows and as you start getting more and more knowledge about the topic, I'll start using more of the technical team, which normally it's being used in QA terminologies and which is being used in testing terminologies. So QA, you can say simply as quality assurance team or quality analysis team. Analysis team. Fair enough. So now these teams were work in silos. Infrastructure team, such as operations team, or the team who works on deployment purpose, build and release engineer, they work on infrastructure category. So you can say all the operations team member who works on basically creation of servers, maintaining servers, and also build and release engineer. Build and release, this is also called build and release engineer. They are all working separately. So there were no much of the communication in between development team and infrastructure team. What DevOps has done, DevOps has brought all these teams together. So now what happens being a DevOps engineer, and this is one of the tasks which you'll have to perform being a DevOps engineer. Every morning when you're going to log in and when you start work, the first thing which happens in a daily stand up. I'm pretty much sure that being in operations team also you have seen, or being in development team also, whatever technology you belong to, you have already been a part of daily stand-ups. Now but what happens in this kind of daily stand-up, to which we also call as sprint call or scrum meetings, what happens in this case? So there is certain terminologies which I'm going to talk about in our upcoming sessions also. So daily is stand-ups is pretty much commonly known as daily sprint calls. You can say sprint calls also. So now daily stand-up, everyone participates. In DevOps framework, in daily stand-ups, everyone participates. We have participation from development team also, which includes developers, testing team members. We have participation from infrastructure team also, operations, or build and release engineer. Everyone participates. And say if there is any impediment or blocker which developers are facing because of some mismatch of infrastructure or because of the infrastructure not present, they just give a voice out. Infrastructure team addresses the issue and works accordingly. Many times even the issues or concerns are being raised by, or the impediments are being raised by, operations team member also. And the moral is that they try to talk about the scenario or situations which can cause some problem there during the delivery period. During the time of actual deployment, some problems comes. So what could be the problem during the time of deployments? Let's understand that thing also, which can be addressed, which is well addressed by DevOps. So problems during during deployment period, which IT industry has faced nearly 10 to 15 years, nearly 10 to 15 years back, 15 years back, right? Which IT industry has faced nearly 10 to 15 years back. What were the problem? Problem were there that developers has written the code and the code is working pretty much fine in developers machine. But at the time of deployment, perhaps because of the mismatch of the infrastructure, the code did not work well for the code did not go well, or the deployment did not go well on the actual production servers. Now, because of this, what happened? The customers are unhappy because customer even doesn't want to know how development has been or what was the progress of development, but customer actually wants end result. If the deployment went well and the customers are getting the desired result for which they have paid to the client organization, or for which they are they have just placed the requirement, then they are pretty much happy, then they are pretty much satisfied. But at initial days, these things were not happening. In the initial days, there were certain problems, certain challenges, wherein development has already been done, but the infrastructure sometimes is not ready for the deployment to complete, or the development infrastructure is different and the deployment infrastructure is different, or the production infrastructure is different. Because of this mismatch, deployment did not go well, deadlines were breached, and lots of penalty has been paid by the organizations, because of which organization has came with a better approach. What now, how this DevOps helps? This DevOps allows different teams to interact with each other much before the actual deployment happens, much before the actual application reaches to customers, because of which there is no chances of last moment surprises. That is the biggest advantage of DevOps. Now, how DevOps helps in streamlining or making the deployment more effective, making the deployment more proper, making the delivery more beneficial, more effective, more in a making the deployment or delivery in an effective way, so that customer gets the desired result what they're expecting. Customer gets the result what they're expecting. This is what DevOps is. So what DevOps says, DevOps in very simple terms, we can say that DevOps, it is a change in mindset, mindset, or change in culture, which helps which helps in in better delivery, in better delivery, in better delivery. How it helps in better delivery? Because multiple teams are working together now. We have Development team and operations team are working hand in hand. There is no silos, there is no last minute surprises, because of which DevOps has been a kind of very beneficial to IT industry. Now, is this the only thing which DevOps is? DevOps is only helping in better delivery? No. Also, other than better delivery, what DevOps helps is, so DevOps helps in better delivery, but other than better delivery, DevOps also helps in achieving automation. DevOps helps to bring automation. DevOps is an effective tool which help to bring automation also. DevOps has helped a lot to improve quality. Also, DevOps has helped a lot in getting effective monitoring system. Also, DevOps has helped a lot in getting a better testing framework. DevOps helped in all those things. Automation is pretty much important. Nobody in today's world likes to repeat or likes to continuously perform certain activities monotonously. Everyone looks for automation. Now we are living in a stage of artificial intelligence where um, automation is one hidden component of everything what we do. Everything which we do continuously has to be automated, either in some different ways. Now, in order to perform automation, we write a number of things. We use some ISC tools like Terraform and others. Terraform, Terraform, Ansible, and others. To improve quality, we use DevOps framework, because how the quality improves? Quality improves with a regular feedback. With continuous feedbacks, if provided, then quality improves. With DevOps, since the delivery is continuous, since the delivery is very fast, we get feedback on the product which reaches to customers pretty much sooner. Because of the continuous feedback, quality improves a lot. Quality being a very, very important thing. Quality is something which is needed by consumers. Automation is something which you need, which company needs, but who needs quality? Quality is something which is needed by consumers. And also, in order to manage proper quality, in order to understand if the services are reaching out to customers properly or not, monitoring plays a vital role. Monitoring helps a lot in ensuring that whatever it's been developed reaches to customers pretty much well. And testing as something, whatever it's been developed reaches, it's tested thoroughly or not. This is used to ensure that the quality is maintained properly. So testing ensures quality, feedback ensures quality, and these all things is ensured by DevOps. So DevOps ensures that automation is achieved, a proper quality is getting maintained, monitoring is properly configured, proper setup of monitoring is there to ensure that anything which is developed till now, anything which is which reaches out to customers is is accessible by customer in a proper way or not. There is any disturbance, outage situation is quite easily tracked by monitoring. And after that, it is testing which ensures quality too. So this is why DevOps. Now, DevOps is because of these all reasons. So this is also the answer of why DevOps. DevOps is something which is helping industry to achieve automation, to maintain a better quality, to also impose monitoring on top of the application which has been developed, and also to have a proper testing on the product which has been developed. So everything falls under the category of why DevOps. So it's like in say, in case if I have to define what is DevOps, then I'll pretty much easily say DevOps is the change of mindset or the culture which brought development team and operations team together, which ensures a better delivery by having automation, by ensuring proper quality is maintained, and also by imposing monitoring on top of any application which reaches to customer, to ensure that the customer is able to use the product in a proper way, in a non in there's no hindrance, basically there is no blockage basically for any of the product which customers wants to access, right? So this is DevOps. And this is what you have to tell in interview also. In interview, if interviewer asks you what is the day-to-day activities of DevOps engineer, so what are the daily activities of DevOps engineer? So if interviewer asks you daily activities of DevOps engineer, then you can pretty much easily say the daily activities of DevOps engineer includes first participating in stand-up call, because that is pretty much important. Until unless you participate in a stand-up call, you will not be able to interact with development team. And until unless you interact with development team, you do not know what the actual requirement is, based on which you will work on the pipeline creation, based on which you will work on automation activity. So yes, participation in daily stand-up call is very much important part. Participation in Scrum call Scrum call is very much important part of a DevOps engineer. So participation in daily Scrum call. After this, what? Based on the Scrum call, based on the requirement which you have gathered in Scrum call. Furthermore, you have to start working on your day-to-day activities. It includes ensuring that the infrastructure which has been developed for applications to run is running properly, running smooth, having proper monitoring setup, having proper ensuring ensuring proper monitoring, ensuring monitoring, proper monitoring, ensuring ensuring proper logging, proper logging. There could be anything. There could be error logs. There could be syslog. Any type of logging could be there. Ensuring proper logging is there is also a part of DevOps engineer. Furthermore, based on the task which is assigned to you, you have to work on based on the task which is assigned to you. You have to work on creation of pipeline, creation of pipeline, right? Creation of pipelines, writing Terraform codes, writing Terraform codes, right? Writing Terraform codes. And other than this, there could be some more tasks which includes Ansible, usage of Ansible as the usage of Ansible, usage of Ansible in CM tool, setup, right? And gradually, as the session proceeds, we'll talk about a number of other tools, which includes usage of Terraform, usage of Ansible, maintaining a number of security frameworks, because nowadays we talk a lot about DevSecOps also, right? We talk a lot about DevSecOps also, wherein something came in between, which is Dev plus Sec plus Ops. Dev stands for development, development. Sec stands for security, and Ops stands for operations, right? So one has to deal with all these three things, being a DevSecOps, being in DevSecOps framework. So now, even though you are a DevOps, you have to ensure that security is properly there or not, and that we are going to talk about in our upcoming sessions also. So thank you everyone. This is in day one. I'll see you in our day two session also, wherein I'll talk more about different sort of tools which we are going to cover as a part of our session. Thank you, everyone.